Today's topic is like search strategies and search engines. We are all aware of this search strategies and search engines when we are doing our masters in the library science or bachelor's. We are all seeing different literatures and different type of information channels. We can say like articles, conference papers, newsletters, magazines, everything. So we all know that these informations are packed and being made into different products, or we call the databases, from which we can search for our requirement as per our research criteria and research requirements. Nowadays, in our day-to-day life activities, we are, using any of the search engines like we call say Google. We are using this for each and everything to search. So search is an ongoing activity in our lives. We are searching for everything from our wake up from bed to the going back to the bed. So the search strategies and search engines, today's topic. Why we require this search strategies and search engines? As I was saying, like there's a huge collection of information hidden or binded in different locations and different databases. So before I start, I will just give an introduction, like what broadly will I be speaking in today's session. The objective of
Sir, you need to be on full screen mode. You're not on presentation.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay now. Thank you, sir.
So objective of literature search: systematic approach to literature review and various online resources and different search strategies which we need to learn or which we need to go through it. Identifying and deciding alternate source for literature and access to online resources. So these are the broader areas which I would like to run through my presentation today. What exactly the objective of literature search? So figuring out what the purpose in doing the literature review is was the thing, like are you, to the particular topic, are we getting the correct information, or do you need a comprehensive understanding of the topic, in-depth knowledge of all the technical terms? Are you trying to learn how variables are typically measured in a particular industry? Or do we need to create a conceptual model to inform your statistical analysis? So here you can see the four broader points which are the objectives for a literature search. When we start any research, or when we start a theme or an area where we need to do some review or need to write an article or to present in a symposium, so we need to first of all figure it out, the purpose in doing the literature review, why we are doing the literature review. We need to have a comprehensive understanding of the topic first of all, like what is our topic, how I need to approach to the topic which I am doing today the research, and are you trying to learn how variables are typically measured in a particular industry? This is also like we need to understand like how these particular variables will be measured. And before that, we need to also create a conceptual model to inform our statistical analysis. So to bring out a conceptual model for our statistical analysis, we need a proper literature search. So this is the objective of having a proper literature search. Uh, so this is a slide which I have taken from an article written by Lois E. Reed, which he pictorially explains performing a literature review. So here we can see in this picture, it demonstrates how the literature search will start by identifying topic of our interest. So first it starts with identifying a topic, which is the research or which is the niche area where we need to do research. Then we need to understand like how my research or how my literature search should be in what. Say for example, if say for example, a small example, if I want to go to Gandhinagar in Ahmedabad, or I mean in Gujarat, I'm staying in the southern part of India. So I'll first of all see the ways how I can reach Gandhinagar, the modes of transport, whether it is by bus or a train or air, and what is the shortest distance, what is the fare, how much hours it. So this is how we are relating, or we are searching to go to a destination. In the same way, when we are identifying a topic of our interest, we need to generate the related questions also. Like once we generate the related questions, then the next step comes to state the unsolved problem. So when we are generating the related questions, it will be related to the topic which we have identified and the topic of our interest, and as well as it also states some unsolved problems. To see or see the unsolved problems, we need to find or develop a solution. For developing the solution, we need to have a literature search, which it should be narrowed. So you can also, I can say the concept of Apupa by Dr. Ranganathan. What he says is that we need to see what the core area or the core subject which is interest means. We need to come over the narrow subjects and come to the core area. In the same way, the literature search also should be from the broader to the narrow. So once we come to the narrow, then our topic of interest or the related questions which we have generated on the topic of interest can be answered. So the document results also will be like, so once the document results will start from a lesser quantity to the higher quantity depending upon the requirement of our documents based on the search. So this is how a pictorial diagram which has clearly explains what a literature search would be and how the document results will be coming by Lois E. Reed. This is in the same way like the literature search for research planning and identification of research problem, which I have taken out. Like you can see finding out a research question, what is our focus, what is our search plan. In our search plan, what are the resources or what are the keywords? You can see here mesh. I mean, I've taken the medical subject headings as a keyword because he has quoted in his article how the resources which we will be using in our search plan, what are the keywords, and using the resources and the keywords which we are using, what are the end search results. Again, the search results will be like, we can say nowadays, if we search in Google, it gives an enormous number of hints, which we couldn't identify which is an authentic one or which exactly suits our research area. So the search results, again, you can broaden it to the evaluation and recording and review and revising. Then comes the straight path of literature review. So this is how what we call a workflow, or you can say how our finding out the research question and how it ends to the literature review. So you can see in between different steps or different phases, like how we can reach to the literature review end part by seeing the search plan, search results, and under search results, again, evaluation and recording and reviewing and revising. So this clearly explains how our search research should be and what our focus should be by to start the resources or finding out the resources and identifying the keywords to search from different resources. And here you can see these are all the very quite good search engines which I have taken. You can see the Bing search engine, Google search engine, Yahoo search engine. These are typically everyone can search, or you can say powerful search engines. Whatever you type for any keyword or any topic, it retrieves in huge number of results. Where again, it's our part, like which will be our particular material or particular literature will be suitable for our topic. We need to identify. So these are the different search engines which it's available in our net. Coming to the searching, the web and search techniques. Different search techniques are there, but broadly it is like everyone knows that basic search and advanced search. Basic search, we all know it's a simple text search. Just if you give information or library science in any of the search engines which I have shown in the before screen, it retrieves lot many documents. Likewise, the basic search which will be available in all major search engine databases as well as indexing and abstracting databases like Scopus, Web of Science, or if you go to each and every publisher website of their journal's website, then you can also find like basic search and advanced search. Why there is a basic search and advanced search? In the name itself, we can say it is basic, creamy layer. Like if you are looking for, yes, I want to say something today about search engines or search strategies, you can just give search engines and it retrieves a number of documents where you can take for a while the text which you require to deliver your lecture or to give your interview or something like. It's a basic model. You can see a basic model car or a basic model bike. Advanced search is like again high-end car. I mean, I'm just giving an example. Advanced search, through advanced search, it is like refinement. You can refine your search query or your search result to the finest literature which you want, which exactly you're looking for. This is what you can get from the advanced search. Although advanced search requires a few more operators or which I listed, like Boolean operators, phrase searching, proximity searching, truncation and wildcards, case sensitive, field searching. So you can assume that these are the dependencies or these are the add-on tools which you require to make your advanced search for your literature review or a literature search. Every tool or every point which here it is mentioned, it's having its own importance, like Boolean operators, how Boolean operators will function, how the Boolean operators will retrieve the documents. Likewise, phrase searching, what exactly the phrase searching means, and what exactly the search results which be giving when you use the phrase searching. Proximity searching. So all these are clearly helps you out, better to say helps you out to narrow your search techniques, to narrow your the broader subject area, to narrow your search results. Each and every part is having different the way of searching. So I'll be making you to also go online, like if I can have that, so that how exactly it works. Like systematic approach to literature review. So when we start for a literature review, one should consider the following sources of information and publication types that are relevant to the search or the study. This is what we are explaining. I mean, we were discussing, or I've been explaining since few slides. We need to consider the following sources of information and publication types that are relevant to the search or study. We need to first of all identify which are the sources or which are the publication types which are exactly relevant or will be relevant to my study. Next, look for the bibliographics in published literature reviews. This is a key point which really helps. Like it gives much more exposure to go through different articles or different research areas, research publications, if we can look for bibliographics in the already published literature reviews. Why? Because we may miss out something, or the way we are searching, or the way we have a hold on particular literature may end up with very few research information. But if you can get some chance to go to the bibliographies in a published literature review, it gives an approach to strengthen your literature review for a better research. And browse the collections available in the library. Of course, we need to always browse the collections which are available in our library. We all are aware that library nowadays is becoming, in its physical size, it is becoming smaller, but in the resources size, it is becoming bigger. I mean, in the resources, I would like to give a hash on that. Resources in the sense, like not only the subscribed resources, we do have different types of resources in different what we call appearances, like books, journals, or laboratory manuscripts which will be there in your respective institutes, or even back volumes. And apart from all this, the subscribed e-journals. Among all of us, very few are going through this subscribed e-resources, but still there are many e-resources which we need to browse, which are available through collection in our library. And check the resources available for your subject area. Of course, we also need to search what exactly the resources which are available in our subject area, which I am going, or which we are going into the research, which we are going to do research on a particular topic. We need to first of all give much more concentration on the subject area journals and the resources which are available on the subject area. Coming next is the academic databases. Index the publication types relevant for specific disciplines. Check the scope, not of the database, for more. Of course, the academic databases index also plays a very vital role. We need to also take help of these academic databases. And the last one is information regarding sources indexed, and the information which are available, or the sources which are already indexed. So through this, if we can touch upon all these things, then the literature review, or an approach to a very framed or a systematic approach to our literature review, will be very smoothful and fruitful. Coming to e-resources and search strategies. Now I can say we are entering into the core concept, like e-resources and search strategies. Nowadays, even though we are emphasizing about a physical library, going through the available textbooks or journal, what we call back issues, something like. E-resources are very important nowadays to search for any literature, whether it is a small concept, or it is a multifaceted concept. Search strategies, e-resources, these are, better to say, interlinked. Without e-resources, you can't have a better search strategies, and without a confined, a queried search strategies, you can't or we can't use the e-resources in a better way. So the information available in e-resources are infinite. That's a better word, infinite. Why? Because each and every subject domain has its own resource types, taking from the physical resource, uh, or better to say the conventional, non-conventional types, to the e-resources. They are archived, or they are made it available in different platforms in different ways. So each and every subject now has its journals and has its database of their specific information catering. Now, before I skip to the next slide, just I would like to say how the information is, or how the literature is increasing. This morning I was browsing one of the blog posts by Joanna Wilkinson. She says that over 3 million articles are published annually. It's 3 million articles are published annually, and the number is also accelerating by 4% every year. So here we can see how the information explosion is taking place. It's exploding like anything which is not in our control to calculate, or like we can figure like this is the number, this is exact, or how much. It is exploding. So all this information are captured in different e-resources or in different information channels. That's what even in the morning Mr. Vishal was also saying the same. So obviously once the e-resources are there, it is also making our life much easier. Previously, when Dr. CNR Rao or eminent scientists who have done their research activities, it is a very cumbersome process to come out or to write a research article. They need to visit the physical libraries. They need to sit hours and hours of time spending in libraries, referring to the bound volumes, referring to the abstracts, taking a note of all what they are looking for to embed into their research, or to add to their research activities, or to strengthen the topic which they would like to say to the external world. Also, we are aware that it used to take a huge time to get an article published in peer-reviewed journals. Now, with the technological era, it has been changed, everything online. Likewise, the e-resources had also been important by making a shift from physical visits to library for a literature review to sitting at our desktop or having a lap in our hands and searching for different literature which we are looking for. So why I would like to emphasize is that life become very easy nowadays to get the research articles to be linked with our research which we are looking for, to make that published. It made very easy. Everything is searchable. Everything is available online. Of course, few resources are restricted. I do agree that, but still, we do have a creamy layer of information available to all the researchers in their desktop or laptop or even mobiles. So the available information which is there in different e-resources need to be retrieved or need to be refined from a chunk of literature which the databases are providing. How? That is only possible through a strategy that is a search strategy. As we were discussing the before slides, the basic search, advanced search. These are the two mechanisms which we use basically to retrieve a particular literature from the e-resources what we have. So coming to is what is electronic library resources. Any library or information resources that can be accessed by a computer, that's what we were saying, like electronic journals, scholarly databases, information gateways, also ebooks, reports, magazines, grade literature. So these are the different avenues which are open to all under the electronic library resources. Now, previously it was physical traditional library resources like book racks or bound volumes or these number of huge e-print, print journal collections likewise. But now the scenario has changed. Any library or information resource that can be accessed by a computer, like electronic journals, scholarly databases, information gateways, the internet, and also ebooks, reports, magazines, grade literature. Electronic journals. Coming to this electronic journals are also like we have almost like we do have access to few journals which are open and few are like restricted. A full text whole journal available through electronic version of print, electronic only, like Oxford University Press, and partial full texts, selected articles only, and table of contents or abstracts only. So these are the different ways of electronic journals which you can see, giving the full text, a partial full text, and a table of contents and abstracts only, which they will be providing or they will be giving information up to an initial level of showing the table of contents as well as the abstract of that particular type journals. Coming to this type of electronic resources, the electronic resources types here you can see on the screen. It has been wide varieties like E. E is prefix to everything. Previously it used to be print, hard copy. Now it has made into E. So e-resources comprise of like e-journals, e-books, e-databases, e-newspapers, e-magazines, e-theses and dissertations. So the content which are available in this so-called e-resources can be accessible or can be viewed or can be searched only through the search strategies or the search engines. And these are the e-journals. Of course, there are pros and cons, and the advantages of e-journals is they are up to date, convenient information at our desktop, value-added features, search facilities, links to other databases, supplementary information graphs, etc. Access to a wider range of material than might be available through your local library. So this is how we have discussed already. Like it gives an up-to-date information. It is more convenient from your desktop. You can access the content or the e-journals which you are looking for. It also gives like value-added features. You can have the search facilities, and few also will be providing different tutorials on the search facilities, how they need to use, because each and every e-resource which currently we have has different mechanisms of throwing out the research material or the research results, and it links to the other databases. Supplementary information and graphs, obviously when we used to have the physical journals. The supplementary material means we need to wait for another supplementary material which accompanied by that, and it should be kept in another reference section where we need to go and bring it for seeing that supplementary material for a view. Likewise, now these e-journals are also providing the supplementary information, and moreover, for most of the technological researchers, it also gives you in a very good graphical manner the research output or the study what they have done in the laboratories. So these are the value added features which are now available in the e-journals, or which are there in the e-journals. Access to a wider range of material than might be available through your local library. Obviously, more information and wider range of material can be accessed which are not available or which may not be available in our local library. More than that, what we have a preliminary data or a preliminary information. Apart from that preliminary information, what we have access to, rather than that, more you can get from these e-journals. Coming to the electronic database. Electronic database, again, like bibliographic references to published material, numeric statistical tables, full text complete publications, audio collection of music, image collection of slides, multimedia, audio, animation, etc. Like example EBSCOhost. So these are the different databases which also can be linked to the search which we are looking for, like if it is from bibliography for numeric text or full text. Like example EBSCOhost, it's a licensed range of electronic information resource, huge volume of information. Electronic databases are also important nowadays to get the exact research literature for our research activities. So these are few databases which I can show you. So here you can see this is an database, EBSCOhost database. Sorry, these are like very old slides which I have taken from. You can see different databases which are on the same platform: Academic Search Premier, Business Source Premier, Regional Business News, Medline. So you can have different databases in one platform where you can make your search to be more relevant by going through a particular database. Why we use the scholarly databases? Why not the other? Because to provide information for a specific project or topic, provide an overview of research activity in a given area, up-to-date information on a specific subject area through regular scanning, allow searching over large bodies of data and academic type of information. These four broader points will clearly make us understand like why we only use the scholarly databases, why not the others. Because to a specific project or a topic, we can get the information from the scholarly database which are confined to that particular topic. And we can also have an overview of research activity in a given area. An overview can be taken, or an overview can be seen by for a given area in the scholarly databases. Up-to-date information on a specific subject area through regular scanning. So the up-to-date information is also like a key point, because through day-to-day the research is increasing. So the information on the subject area will also need to get updated. Then only our research can also be add on with the latest updates what it's been happening on the research area which we are looking for. And it allows searching over large bodies of data and academic type information. And next one is the internet. Huge information resource, continually growing and changing. No national, political, scientific barriers. Effective search tools allow relatively easy navigation. So this like the internet, it is like a huge information resource. That's what we were saying in the first beginning itself. It is a huge information resource, and it has no barriers, no national, political, or scientific barriers. It gives whatever you search, it gives in an elaborative way. So efficient search tools allow relatively easy navigation. So it allows an easy navigation through relatively search engines like Google and all the web.com. Searching online resources. So here you can see a simple search. That's what we were saying. Like a simple search, often called a basic search, is the most common feature available in any digital library, which is the most preferred entry point for discovering its content. For example, if you take in the slide, the JSTOR archive, an archive of various types of content from journal articles to books, emails, etc., gives a simple search box for making any free text search. That's what it is, a basic search we call free text search, which results through all metadata fields, including full text content. So this is what a basic search look like. It is a free text. Whenever you give here in any search JSTOR, I mean whatever the search box it is, it gives a search results on all the metadata fields, including all the full text content also. So this is how a JSTOR will look like. And you can also see here in the ACS publication search box, you can have a search box with anywhere, title, author, abstract. Like simple search functionalities along with options to restrict the search query to a specific key metadata fields. I mean, for example, as shown in this screenshot, it provides search for anywhere, I mean, where you want to, from where you want to get that particular search string which you are entering, whether it is like anywhere, you are not confining, whether if you want to make that particular search to be retrieved from anywhere across the ACS publication, it will retrieve. Or you can specify the title of that particular article or a topic, author if you are more specific. So here what it makes is like it will minimize your search result. It will make, or it will give a flexibility to make your search more confined. And coming to this simple search or basic search, this is a ETCS library of Library and Archives Canada, which gives in the same note, like you can search by a keyword, subject type, or a note, or ISBN, etc. You can search just by giving one. So this is how even a particular electronic thesis database are also providing with different search tools or search mechanisms. So until now we have seen what exactly a basic difference between a basic search and advanced search, and how simple screens will look by taking few examples from few databases as well as some theses and dissertations. In our next slide here, we'll see the simple search and basic search and search techniques. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry for interruption. Make it to full screen, man. You are in a presentation mode. You are in a present. You are in a present. That. And yeah.
No, you go and hide present. Yeah, done.
Yeah, got it.
Your PPTs are 73.
Yeah, I will run it out, sir. I'll go through it. I'll be on time. I'll be on time. So here, these are the simple search and basic search. The Boolean searching, the wildcard, truncation symbols, proximity search, grouping terms together using parentheses. So as Konur sir was saying that a complete one-day class should be taken over simple search and basic search, or search strategies or different search engines, how we need to search. But anyhow, just I will give an overview of how different search techniques need to be applied. So by using the Boolean searching or the wildcard or truncation symbols, you will make your search more confined, more refined, which these wildcard and truncation symbols will help you to filter your search for an exact results. Advanced search is provided using multiple search, like what we are saying, in a plain text box with option to create complex queries. It gives you a plain text box to create a complex query. So you can create your query and you can refine the search to an exact results. So these are different advanced search screens which we are which I am showing now, like Cyverse. It provides you different options in the slide. I can show you. So here you can see an advanced search with various points which you can filter. Likewise, the HathiTrust digital library. This is an advanced square where you can see, like you can see the add a pair of search fields. Apart from the search fields which they have given predefined, you can also add, or you can build your advanced search to refine the search, or to limit the search. Different search methods like Boolean logic, word phrase search, truncation, proximity searching, relevancy ranking, and browsing of index. So here, these are the Boolean search. We are all aware, and or not. We are learning since our library science course started in our respective universities and colleges. Boolean operators are very effective operators. These three and are not simple, but it gives the results in an effective way. So here I have clearly given different examples also how you need to refine by using the Boolean operators. And these are the wildcard and stemming, the question mark and hash symbol or a star symbol, which gives a multiple character matching. So the search engine automatically expands word with common endings to include plurals, past tense, etc. Phrase searching, like exact term, like if you are looking for exact term information, or phrase search, if you are looking for only information retrieval, you keep in the quotes. So this is a phrase search. Like plus symbol and giving a minus symbol, it is like not or a must. So if you add a plus symbol in any of the topic, it retrieves those results only. Like for example, here plus library science, here the word library must appear in search results. Science is optional. So that's how our search will be retrieved based by giving an phrase searching. Advanced field search, again you can see, or a build, like you can select the different type. As I was saying, every database has its own option of building up the advanced search. Here you can see author, title, keyword, abstract, and fuzzy search. Yes, this is also like we are very nowadays it is like ambiguity is there with different authors. So by using the fuzzy search, you can match exactly or different naming entities. Proximity search, used to retrieve documents that have two words or phrases in proximity, that is, that they appear near to each other. So decision support system, a tool for information management. The search query information system will be there in this. 3 examples, like International Nuclear Information System. Why? Because we have given a proximity search. That's why it will be retrieving these results. A group search. So here under the group search, parentheses can be used in search query to group search terms into sets, and operators can be then applied to the whole set. Example, interactive resources or learning objectives. Under parentheses, you can add one more Boolean operator and one more topic under parentheses. So this is a group search. And if you take the fielded search with grouping, you can use the parentheses as well as in a whole with the inverted commas, or you can give an exact search. This is expert search. That's what we were saying, that expert search, we need to use different tags which we need to use for different database based on their query which we need to build. The Web of Science has different query builder, and Scopus has a different query builder. In the same way, a single search box or a text box with option to make complete complex search query. For example, American Economic Review, and so you can say here title and not author. So in title it is FLA, and it should not be author, should not be Robert. So you can build your advanced search or expert search using expert search option in every database. Faceted search. So here there are many search options like advanced search, group search, phrased search, faceted search. Faceted search will use the Solar search engine for creating. So provide additional functionality like relevancy ranking, spell checking, tagging, enhanced content, and its search facets. So through faceted search, these are the advantages. And these are the few screens which I would like to show on different search strategies or how they are making. See here you can see the subject, author, languages, and similar items. Filtering search results also. Filters can also be used to refine the search. For example, article types. You can filter your search screens. This is automated search options. Other sources for related articles, references cited by similar articles. So these are the resources which will be very helpful to get more related articles like from references and cited by and similar articles. In a nutshell, search several databases to search articles related to your topic. Use thesaurus to identify terms to locate your articles. Find an article that is similar to your topic, then look at the terms used to describe it, and then use them for your search. Use databases that provide full text articles, free through academic libraries, internet, or for a free, as much as possible, so that you can save time searching for your articles. If you are examining a topic for the first time and unaware of the research on it, start with broader synthesis of the literature, such as overviews, summaries of the literature on your topic, or a review articles. Start with the most recent issues of the journals and look for the studies about your topic, and then work backward. Follow up on references at the end of the articles for more sources to examine. So this is just like I would like to show how the academic journals have grown and how the federated search will be more, the mechanism or the concept of federated search, how it will be. Whenever you search for any topic, it will be retrieving from different sources, whether it is an indexing or abstracting databases, or a subject confined databases, or a particular publisher database, or a federated one, federated search like EBSCOhost, ScienceDirect, particular journal. Again, the search results will be retrieved. So this is a concept of how a federated search will be useful. These are different citation indexes like Web of Science. I thought to share this screen. So Web of Science is also having different basic search, cited reference search, advanced search. So these are the different indexing and abstracting databases. And Dimensions also one of the best database which you can get the results from basic search as well as advanced search. So advantage of using the Web of Science and Scopus. So this is not much relevant to this, but I would like to share. And this is Google Scholar, how it looks like for any literature review search. Just you can see here, it has retrieved some 28,50,000 documents, which are, it's very cumbersome process to know what exactly. Evaluation of sources for citation. So this is, we need to first of all evaluate source for the citation which we would like to. Authority and purpose, publication format, relevancy, date of publication, documentation. So these are the few key points which we need to evaluate for any citation. And evaluating websites also, like who is the author, creator of the website, contact details. So why I am emphasizing is like we should not be blindfolded. We should be more cautious, like what exactly the website, or verifying the domain name of the websites, or whether it is an authenticating information it is providing or not. So we need to evaluate few websites. Keeping update with use of Web 2.0 tools. So access to online journals. So this is again out of box. I would like to, why I'm emphasizing is, through InflubeNet, we do have eShod Sindhu portal. For all the subscribed content, you can browse this. This is the analyst component for colleges under eShod Sindhu. So different. So this is one of again a National Digital Library of India, a portal where you can get all the resources which are available for free. These are open access resources. Discoverability of open access. Yes, open access. Now you can also see a lot many articles or journals are in open access mode. So here we do have different sources where we can get all the open access articles like DOAJ portal. And so why I am saying even open access tools or the resources are also can be used for our literature review or literature search, which again they do have they do have different search options like basic search, advanced search. So even every search engine like Bayfield Academic Search Engine, it has more than crores of documents, but still these type of resources can also be much more used for our day-to-day research activities for better research output. So this is like DOAJ and Paul, this is unpaywall screen, Google Scholar button. So here you can make use of this Google Scholar button option also for your research articles to be more connected. And this is a share is building a free open data set about research and scholarly activities across their life cycle. So these basically, this is the last slide. So through my presentation, what I would like to say is like, there's much more to be done before we start our research activities. First of all, we need to confine what are the different sources, how the way we need to proceed to make our search more visible or more viable to related topics. We need to be more cautious in selecting the resources. We need to be very well versed with different type of search mechanisms. Then only we can have a better research output in different ways like research article or a conference paper. So with this, I thank once again Dr. Konur sir and team for giving me this opportunity to present on the search strategies and search engines.
Stop sharing your screen.
Siva, please stop sharing your screen.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Siva, for a very, very informative talk you have given, and most of the participants have also appreciated and they are asking for your PPTs also, which will be shared to all the participants in due course of time. Now I request the moderator, Dr. Biradar, to take the questions and moderate the issue. Thank you, sir. Dr. Biradar, please.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, Shivshankar, for your nice presentation. So there are few questions raised by participants. I feel those questions are more relevant. About 50 questions have been raised by different participants, but it is not 50 over 50, 51 question. So it is not possible to put all the questions before you. For which you need to give clarifications or answer. One question is Dr. Ishappa Bandi, who asked, can InflipNet initiate a discovery service for all Indian university libraries?
Thank you, Biradar sir. And, yeah, thank you, Biradar sir. And we are trying to do that to make a federated, and we are still, I mean, in the pipeline mode. The team of experts are working on that, and soon we will let you know if once we get out of this federated search, this thing.
Okay. Another question is asked by Karthikeyan, who is a librarian in Sri Ramakrishna Engineering College, Coimbatore. His question is how to avoid jargon while searching using a search engine.
Yeah, so here it's simple, like we need to be more specific about different search strategies like Boolean operators or proximity search. That's what I have shown in my screen, in my presentation.
Okay.
So by using the exact search or different truncations or wildcards, we can reduce the jargons in most of the search engines.
Okay, thank you, Shiv Shankar.
Thank you, sir.
Another question is, which is asked by NP Ravi Kumar. Can we redistribute Kindle version of e-books to our stakeholders? Does it attract any copyright violation?
Sir, this I'm not sure, because there will be a copyright. You need to check with the particular book publisher or where from you are getting. Why? Because it can't be done, it seems, as of I know. So there will be some restrictions. You need to check back, sir.
Okay, one more question is, what are search techniques to get grey literature, which is asked by Jagannath Banner?
Yeah, sir, the search techniques or the search strategies are not different for published literature or grey literature. A search strategy will be common to all, but as we know that grey literature is not that much easily available to public. So the search strategy will remain to grey literature also. But in this context, I'll take help of Dr. Shivaram sir to answer this query of my presentation, sir. Why? Because he is much expert person.
Yeah, he is familiar with grey literature. He is working on grey literature. Dr. Shivaram?
If I can add to Shiva's answer. So basically search strategies remain same. These gray sources what we consult, say for example base academic search, which Shiva has told, it covers a lot of gray literature, and if you go there, they have a very advanced search functionalities has been put there. Maybe you can restrict to document type. For example, PhD thesis or a bachelor's or a master's degree thesis falls into a gray literature document type. You can specifically restrict to that document type and retrieve only those documents. Similarly, as a reports, technical reports or a project reports, you can restrict by document type and retrieve the relevant gray literature. And of course, in general search engines, definitely you can try with the by restricting file type as a PDF or something else, some docs, etc. Since these gray literatures are not published by a regular publishers or regular publishing framework, so many institutions are volunteering by establishing archives. Of course, institution repositories are also playing as a new home for gray literature. So basically, it depends on source, and you can narrow down by using a document type option. Hope I have answered that question.
Thank you, Shivaram sir.
Thank you, Shivaram. And another question posed by Vivek Vardhan, whose question is, what are the specific language search engines like English, Hindi, Kannada? He wanted to know. You got my point. Shiv Shankar.
It's a typical question. Why? Because most of our databases are in English only. So there are exactly very few resources, I mean in-house resources, which they made their collection. For example, if you take few repositories, if I'm not wrong, in Orissa, if they have a few repositories which made by digitizing few books. So very few resources are there where they have embedded the search strategies to be linked up with the search strings which we have or which we make. So maybe it takes some time to come out with different language oriented search engines to make our search. So as of now, very few resources are there based on the institutional wise this thing only, but there are no confined databases as of now.
Okay. And sir,
Short of time, if you can conclude with the last
No,
question.
just last question I will ask us. Last question, sir.
Yeah.
This is last one. Library and Archive Canada, is it open source or we have to take a subscription? Shivshankar,
It's open source.
it is open source. Okay, fine, sir.
Okay.
Over to Professor Ponnur, sir.
Thank you, Siva.